What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by. Playing some short clips from the Coinist podcast. I try to have on the best investors, top analysts, biggest exchanges every single week so you know what's happening in the crypto market. But I know some of you don't like to watch a full show, so I'm going to bring you some clips, some highlights so that you can get the biggest ideas, the takeaways in a quick 5 or 10 minute clip. Enjoy the clip. You can watch the full show down below. Do you have, in your transition to spending a little bit more time on this and the business, obviously Bitcoin's probably more exciting to think about for my audience. Do you have like a memorable, I'm sure you have memorable poker hands. Do you have a really memorable trade as you kind of look back on your career right now? Like a best trade, or you can even, a worst trade would be fun as well.
I think someone recently had some tweet went viral where people were asking crypto traders, describe yourself, you describe your crypto trading strategy with a GIF or whatnot, or with a picture. Yeah. And it was like, my GIF was, the guy standing in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square, where it's like, I really love shorting the things that look like you should never short them, I suppose. Yeah. Where it's like, I've hit it out of the park. I think I've had about three or four scenarios over the years where I've really hit it out of the park, and then one where I got beaten up really bad, and one or two where I've gotten beaten up somewhat bad. But I guess the best one of all, I think is, and this is one that I thought I might get, we thought we might get our account suspended for this, but it was such a good trade that it felt like our account's going to get banned or whatnot. So I'll tell the story on, I don't know if this is the best trade, but I think it's one of the better stories.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with clams or no?
I know clams. I kind of see where you're going with this. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So with clams, so my partner, he is, I'll just mention this right now in case, any exchange owners are watch the podcast or whatnot. I would be shocked if there's more than a handful or a dozen guys in the world that are better at understanding kind of the rules of crypto exchanges and like the nuances of like what each exchange is doing than my partner. So if anyone's out there and wants someone to kind of like audit their systems and see what they're fucking up or whatnot, I think he's insane. He's the type of guy, a good way to describe him, he's never played a board game in his life without reading the rule book cover to cover. So he knows exactly what's kind of going on everywhere. And so with him, we've always, when our goal is just to trade and own every, and just trade on every market and do everything we can to own Bitcoin, or to earn Bitcoin, what he's always kept his eye on is every single coin that you're allowed to short, any coin that you're allowed to short, especially obscure ones. So, Poloniex, they have like, I don't know, 25 coins that you can trade on margin. Most of them are the big coins. They're the Ethereum, they're the Ripple, they're the Bitcoin Cash or whatnot. And he always loved the coin clams, and he loved a couple other of those just total shit coins that there's no reason they should ever allow margin trading, but for some reason Poloniex, had them allowed margin trading on them, because they thought it was cool in 2014 and they just didn't update things. So it's like what we would do is, with just to be able to like trade more coins, you short 1 Bitcoin worth of clams, you buy 1 Bitcoin worth of clams. Okay, now you can trade this, you can arb it across different exchanges and whatnot. And so it's like he just always had his eye out for every single coin that you're allowed to short. Like if you were to ask him right now, list every coin that you can short on a reliable exchange, I think, if it was like a Sporkle test, I think he would get perfect. So he's very good at that, and he's just always paid attention, especially to the unconventional ones, because if those coins ever have a pump, like a lot of people might not know you can't short them. If you can't short them on BitMEX, if you can't short them on Finex, if you can't short them on the traditional platform. So clams has always been kind of like his baby or whatnot. And when clams was pumping, it was, it had like this is when every alt was getting killed. Clams was like, it rallied 2,000% or 3,000% or whatnot. And you look at the order book, and the order book just had like the strongest buys you could ever imagine. It had 700 Bitcoin buy orders that just the whole market cap of this coin is like 4,000 Bitcoin or something insane like that. I had these 700 Bitcoin buy orders that were just like chased the way up the book for like a month or two. And we just started thinking, how could this be possible? We started thinking like, what's going on here? And the only plausible thing we could see that would make this the appreciation be real is there's some casino that allows betting in clams, and we were thinking maybe if that casino is getting acquired by someone else, there's like, so we're trying to think of some plausible reason that this thing could be pumping it. Basically it felt like there was almost no reason. And you look at the trading volume just stays low. And he just knew that there was something like 40 or 50 Bitcoin available, for margin trading. And it's like, if you look through, basically, we just saw this price. It had gotten so, outlandishly high that we just took out like a reasonably large short on this. And if you look through the graph of like how much clams volume was, you can basically see our trade. I forget if we shorted 25 Bitcoin worth or at 30 Bitcoin, somewhere in that kind of range. And then like 18 hours later, the wheels fall off, where it's like we were probably the biggest trade on clams in the last like month or two. And then like 18 hours later, it drops like 90% in like, in one 1 minute candle. And it's like, if people, read back and see like kind of what the scam that was running there was, but like, it's pretty likely our trade is what spooked the guys running the scam, where they were seeing, what happened, what happened there, like what's going on with this market, what the fuck is going on. And I think that the guys that were involved in that trade were likely just, they likely got spooked. Maybe they didn't understand that, there's only like 40, 50 Bitcoin. After our position, there's probably only 10 or 20 Bitcoin left for margin trading in the book. Likely they didn't realize that and didn't realize that, hey, there's not enough liquidity to really eat up their whole 700 Bitcoin buy wall or whatnot. But anyway, it's somewhat likely that our trade kind of sparked that dump. And then, when we closed it, didn't close at like, the bottom or close to the bottom, but still had like a 70. If you could have had a 90% ROI, maybe we had 70 or 75% ROI, which is insane to do on a short. And, then we have like, our VIP contacts at Poloniex are messaging us being like, what are you guys involved? And we're just like, we're over here just being like, you don't expect the trade to, we thought this, like, the thing that kind of inspired this is, were you trading the night when BCH pumped to like 0.4 or 0.5 Bitcoin?
I was watching that. Yeah.
Okay, so that was one of our other trades that it went quite well, but it was just like, if you remember the order books there, you had these 10,000 Bitcoin buy walls at such insanely high prices. Like it was the biggest buy walls I've ever seen on an altcoin, and it's just like when you have this like the strongest support you could imagine, it just seems like in this industry those are always spoofs basically. And when we were really getting flashbacks seeing this wall to just if BCH was up to 50 million sats, it was 7 million sats a month or a month and a half later or something crazy like that. And when it just felt like such similar behavior, and it just felt like there's no way that this continues. And so we took out that short, and it went well. Eventually the site did their investigation. They realized that we had no involvement there, but that was a pretty memorable one where you don't expect something to go, if you were to picture how it plays out perfectly in your head, you're like, okay, the walls disappear, it goes back to a regular price, and we live happily ever after or whatnot. And it's like, well, that happened, and you don't and it's like you look, and it had this crazy rally, but every day it was 20K volume today, 50K volume today. You don't have big volume, and you're just like, it just feels like eventually, the music's gonna stop, but we just didn't expect it to be so sudden. So I guess as far as memorable trades, that would probably be it.